Welcome, everybody, to the Rose-Colored Path podcast. I'm so happy that you're joining us today because I have a very special guest here with me. I have the beautiful Erika Ann Turner. She is the reigning Miss North Carolina for America. Hi, Erika.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here.
How are you today?
I am great. How are you? I haven't seen you since the pageant.
Oh, well, don't worry, girl. I have seen you. I have been following you on every social media platform. It has been so fun to watch you as Miss North Carolina.
Thank you. I'm just so excited.
Tell me what being Miss North Carolina is all about. Because hold on, before you tell me, let me tell all of them. I almost was able to answer that question. I almost could have said I was Erika's first runner up. Yes. So we were standing there together holding hands.
I know. And I remember asking you, I was like, is it okay? Can we hold hands? Like, are you good with it? Because, we had to keep socially distanced. And I was like, if you're good with it, I'm good with it.
I was like, yes, girl, let's hold hands.
Let's do it.
And, okay, so I have to ask you, do you remember whenever I hugged you? You probably don't remember. It was probably such a blur.
I remember everything, actually. I remember what you said to me. Yes.
Tell me.
I remember you gave me a hug and you said, congratulations. You need to go kick butt in nationals.
Yes. That's exactly what I said.
I'm just excited to have this.
I'm just so happy to be here.
This alone is enough. Yeah.
Well, I'm so selfish. I was like, can you go get the national crown, please, so I can be Miss North Carolina? But honestly, Erika, I have to tell you, there was never a moment where I was like upset or jealous. I was like, the judges knew what they were doing. They picked the right girl. I actually said that to someone that night. I think it was the directors. I said, you know what? The judges knew what they were doing. They picked the right girl. And I really, truly believe that you have done such an amazing job as Miss North Carolina. And it has been, honestly, for me, because I was so close, it has been such an honor and a privilege to watch you not squander the privilege that you were given that night. Like, for me, standing back, being so close and seeing what you've done, I'm like, yeah, she was the right girl for the job. She's kicking butt and taking names. So it's been really good to see.
I appreciate it. Thank you. No, I was, like I said, I was shocked. I was taken back, but I was excited. And, I think whenever they announced, because I thought you had it. I mean, if you go back, I just watched the video. Every time they were calling a runner-up, I was like, not me? Not me? And then it came down to us, and I was like, it's us. What? And because you were deserving just as much, because I remember the story you were telling me of everything you've been through. So I admired you the whole day. I was like, oh my gosh, she's here after everything she's been through.
Thank you. Well, and and I have to tell the listeners too, just how sweet Erika was that day, competing. And I still wear the gift that she gave me that day. It's a beautiful gold necklace with a pineapple on it. And the card said, stand tall, wear a crown, and be sweet on the inside. And I really believe that is Erika's character. That is who you are. I see you stand tall with your crown, and you are sweet on the inside. You're not one of these mean girls, and that's why it was so easy to be so happy for you that day. And you've continued to be that. It hasn't changed you. It's been beautiful to see.
Thank you. No, I'm happy to hear that, because the stereotypes surrounding pageantry and beauty queens, whatever. It's people, I think differently of us, but we're normal human beings who have feelings. Make a difference.
That's right. We have feelings, darn it. And I'll talk a little bit about how you touched my life that day. So I was there, to all of our listeners out there, so fill in the gaps for you guys. I had just had a double mastectomy in January of 2020. So the pageant was in August. So I was only, less than a year off from a major surgery. And for the women out there that can relate to this, and I'll explain to everyone else, having a double mastectomy really steals your femininity. I mean, I was 37 years old, and when this surgery took place. But because of my diagnosis at such a young age, I was tested for the BRCA gene. And so this really ties into when Erika stole my heart, to be honest with you, because an onstage question, instead of having this feeling of being, scared that she answered her question so well, it really hit home for me because Erika's platform is on ovarian cancer. And because I have the BRCA gene, this is now part of my life. I will every 6 months be at the oncologist, talking about this and making sure that we're being cautious with my health. But when Erika answered her question about ovarian cancer, I just felt like she got me and that she knew where I was coming from. And that was very important. And I think that's important as a title holder. And so I want to segue now into hearing more from you about how you became passionate about ovarian cancer, because you really are able to connect on this platform at such a personal level.
Right. So my platform is ovarian cancer awareness. That's my personal platform. And then we have a national platform that I take on as well. But ovarian cancer is very near and dear to my heart. My grandmother passed away from it when she was 72. And then my great grandmother passed away as well. So, I was very close to my grandmother. And I mean, they practically raised me, she and my grandfather. So losing her was hard, and like I said, they both passed away from ovarian cancer. So watching her struggle was heartbreaking for me, and I just wanted to know what I could do to make a difference, because not only did I see what she was going through on a daily basis, but I was actually homeschooled, and I was able to go to the chemo center every time she had it. And so I was able to be around other women who are experiencing the same thing. And so it just really touched me, and I wanted to see what I could do about it.
Mm-hmm. And, I think that you have already proven as Miss North Carolina that you meant that when you said, what can I do about this? Because you have already, in less than a year reign, made such an impact. So let's talk about that a little bit. Being Miss North Carolina for America with your platform of ovarian cancer, tell our listeners what you've already done with this platform.
Well, I was able to attend the Gail Parkins Ovarian Cancer Walk, which unfortunately this year was virtual, but able to promote that on a higher level. And I am planning to go to Raleigh to speak with our officials. I did have the chance to meet with John Hardister, North Carolina Majority Whip, and kind of put a bug in their ear of what I really want to do. And what I've come up with is called Sybil's Bill, and the name Sybil is from my grandmother. So it is in honor of her. And what it is a bill to where I would like for free ovarian screening to be available to women, because this is not something that is covered by insurance. And, unfortunately, there's only 2 types of screening as of right now that have been proven the most effective, which is an ultrasound and a CA-125. But I want to do everything that I can to promote that on a different level and hopefully make more women have that available to them to save their life. Because, this is known as the silent killer. Mm-hmm. So only 20% of women who have ovarian cancer have caught it in the early stages. Wow. So you think 80% of women, it's in the final stages. And this is something that spreads so rapidly that by the time they find it, I believe it was 48% of women survive.
Wow.
The 5-year mark. So,
wow, that's scary. That's scary as a woman.
It is, and that's something that's really what I wanted to bring attention to is just you have to put your health first, mm-hmm. and you have to take care of your body, and you have to be aware. Like I said, it is the silent killer, so the symptoms are very vague. But as women, I think it would be easier if more women had access to the screening process.
It's interesting that you talk about that screening process because that's something that I actually had to do this year. I had to go and take that blood test, which, tell me again, what is it?
The CA-125.
Yeah, that. And I had to do the ultrasound, and they're keeping me under close eye. Every 6 months, I have to go and do this, and they're actually talking about taking my ovaries out whenever I'm in my 40s to prevent ovarian cancer. So that's how serious this is.
Yes, and you said you had the BRCA gene.
I do have the BRCA2.
Yes. See, and I think a lot of people listen to ovarian cancer, or they hear about it, and they think, oh, well, it's not going to affect me till I'm like 60 years old. And that's just not the case. Like, yes, your odds are greater once you hit about 55, but there are women, about 30% of women, that will experience it between 30 and 55.
It's interesting, Erika, that you bring that up, because I was 37 when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I found a lump, actually. And I had a different experience. A lot of times there are no symptoms with the cancer, but I kept going to the doctor, and I was like, I don't feel well, something's wrong. Never did they think about doing a mammogram for me. I was 37. It never crossed anyone's mind that maybe she has breast cancer. And I say, thankfully, I was in a car accident. Someone rear-ended me, and that is actually how I found the tumor. Yeah, just from the, yeah, for sure, the seatbelt, just the way it hit me and the pain. And I just kind of pushed on that area, and I was like, wait, I don't remember that being there, and I don't think that's supposed to be there. And so I found my cancer by happenstance, thankfully. And I am a woman of faith, so I believe that there was someone bigger looking out for me to help me find that cancer. But, for every other situation where we don't have these, random situations that happen that bring light to this, what would you suggest women do? How do we take care of this?
I mean, it is just about being proactive. I mean, know your family history, and you have to put yourself first. And I know that's hard for women to do, especially when you have kids. I mean, I don't have them, but I watch my mother always put us above herself, and you just have to be proactive in your health.
Well, you may not have kids, but I will tell our listeners out there, she is a very busy girl. She has a full-time career. She is Miss North Carolina. Like, she has her hands full. So I think that, you could give testimony to, look, you just make it a priority. And I will say this, like, not only is Erika beautiful, but she is also so intelligent. I'm blown away by this bill that you are so diligently working towards. And I remember that was the answer to your onstage question, actually, was about that bill. And I think that was when my ears really perked up, and I was like, wow, that's incredible. So can we talk a little more about that and where, how you're doing that, how you're trying to push that through?
Right. Well, like I said, there's not a lot of screening, and insurance typically won't cover the ultrasound or the CA-125, because within a day, which is how quickly something can happen, your numbers can change.
Wow.
So, my goal really is to make it available to all women and let them know that, your health is important and you need to make it a priority. So like I said, it's Sybil's bill, and I am making plans to head to Raleigh and speak with government officials on that. It would be amazing if this was to start snowballing and be in effect, not only on the state level, but a national level as well. That's something that I would really, really hope could happen.
Yeah. And, I'll say this, this is a needed thing. Being someone who has personally had to go and have these tests done, and I think because of my situation, being that I have oncologists and things like that, I think they were able to tuck it away somehow in the insurance. But let's be real here. Not everyone that needs to have these tests done are cancer patients, So I am supporting you and rooting for you, because I personally know from my own journey that this is something that we really need. And there's no way for me to know that moving forward that they're going to continue to cover that for me. And so I personally would love to see you accomplish this goal, because I know that, for myself and, the BRCA being hereditary, I mean, just other women in my family, we need you, Erika. We need you and your hard work. So let's talk a little bit about moving forward. You've got nationals coming up.
Yes.
When is
only
that?
a couple months away, I think March.
March. Where's that going to be?
In Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas,
so
baby.
excited.
That's so fun. So unfortunately, I'm not one of the judges, because if I were, you would win. And that is not for selfish reasons. It's not because I want the crown or anything for Miss North Carolina. But I really do think, just knowing you and knowing you as a person and what kind of woman you are, I really think that you would be an incredible ambassador for that system, the Miss for America. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that, and have you tell us, like, as Miss for America, hypothetically, you get that crown. What would you do with your year as Miss for America?
Oh my goodness. Like I said, having North Carolina alone, I'm so humbled, but to have the national title would be amazing. And while I would continue with my personal platform of ovarian cancer awareness, I would be diving headfirst even more. I also volunteer and promote Victoria's Voice. Mm-hmm. And I brought the book with me today. This is about drug and opioid overdose and misuse. David and Jackie Siegel, they own the Westgate hotels, and they have partnered with Miss for America. And so we do a lot to promote Victoria's Voice. So it's their daughter, Victoria, who passed away when she was 18 due to overdose. So this book, and I would encourage everyone to read it. It's actually her diary. She sent a text to her mom, she sent a text to her friend, and that right after she passed away, the friend took the text message that was sent right before to her mom, where Victoria wanted this to be published.
Wow. To
help other individuals. So it is truly heartbreaking and sad. She was such a beautiful young woman, and to see, the stages as you read the diary of her life, and really what drug and opioid overdose and misuse does.
I think this is so timely with some areas of our country that have recently legalized some drugs that were not legal before. And we have such an opioid crisis here in America. It's just so timely to be able to say, like, look, this is the real life of this. And this is more than, making more tax dollars per capita, because now, it's legal now. So we're paying taxes on the drugs that are being sold. Like, these are the lives of our children. So I think now more than ever, there is this is a time when our country needs this platform that Victoria's Voice is supporting and educating people on. I think it's a beautiful thing that you're doing with that platform. I
mean, Victoria's Voice is absolutely amazing. Like I said, David and Jackie Siegel have done wonders with it. And, they have speakers that go and talk to over 100 schools, and they have programs for teenagers, and they are really doing everything they can to fight this epidemic that's happening.
So as Miss for America, you would be able to piggyback onto that and start going into the schools.
Yeah, we definitely do a lot with them.
Yeah, and I think any high school student would love seeing you walk in their campus. You're so beautiful. They'd be like, oh my God, Erika.
Well, I just, like I said, I've already done some work with them, like on the state level. There was a recovery hike that our Miss for America, our current title holder, had put together.
I did see those pictures.
And that was amazing.
Yes. It was a beautiful thing.
So we do what we can, to promote and raise awareness for this, because like you said, these are children, and I don't think parents always know what's going on. You know, teenagers are really good at concealing and hiding and, you know, acting happy when they're not.
I'm learning
things
that
like
the hard
that.
way.
It's, you know, it's really heartbreaking.
I have 2 teenagers. So, yeah, I know. Amongst all the other things, I have 2 teenagers. And I can say as a mom, you know, hearing what you're doing with this, with Victoria's Voice and this story, I believe that it's a much needed thing in our country. You know, as a parent, knowing that you have come into my children's school and talked to them about this and what opioids can do and how it can end their life. As a parent, I support that. I support you in doing that. I think it's definitely a much needed thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and like I said, I think we all know someone who has been affected by it. Yeah. We either know someone or we're friends with someone who knows. I mean, it truly is a crisis in this nation.
So I do want to kind of switch gears a little bit because just to tie all of this in, the Rose-Colored Path podcast, you know, this is all about looking at a situation in your life that is, you know, less than perfect. You know, that's why I'm here, because everything that I've been through in my life, most recently the breast cancer, and to say these are the positive things that came out of it. You know, one of the positive things that came out of it was I got to meet you. So I have a lifelong friend now, because I wouldn't have entered the pageant if I didn't need that little kick in the pants. And so for me, you know, I started this podcast to, you know, try to just spread the enthusiasm in people's lives that they can take a horrible situation and find the good. And so, you know, I see this with you, your platform. It comes from a place of tragedy. You lost people that you loved with your whole heart. And Victoria's Voice, this mom, these parents, they lost their daughter. And so I think that both of these platforms that you are working so hard to spread, and I mean, I know that you're Miss North Carolina, but I really already see you doing this on a national level. Tell me what you have kind of noticed, like, you know, my rose-colored path analogy. How have you found the good in these things that were once a tragic thing for you and for the parents of Victoria?
You know, I think we just have to look at it as, while it was a tragedy, you take a tragedy and you turn it into good. So while I may have lost my grandmother, who I was very close with, through that, maybe I can help save other lives. And it's the same thing that David and Jackie Siegel are doing through Victoria's Voice. Victoria was one of the 130 people that day, because 130 people roughly a day die from drug and overdose. They took her story, and by her wishes, like I said, through that text that she had sent to her friend to give to her mom, and it's so sad, you know, that, like I said, that story, but for them to publish things that were so personal to her and to the family, it's saving lives. Wow. And so, you know, there is good that can come out of bad. And I mean, we all hate the tragedy that happens. I mean, my grandmother, I'm still, you know, good. I'm teary-eyed about that, talking about it. And I'm sure, you know, just everyone has experienced some sort of tragedy, but we have to look at it as a way to save others.
I really believe that speaks to the core of who you are. You know, my background is in counseling. I'm working on my PhD right now in mind-body medicine. I'm really, I really support just personal growth and emotional intelligence. And so with my background, what I see when I talk to you and when I am, like, you know, hearing you speak right now, what I see is a woman who says, I was hurting because of this happening. I don't want anyone else to ever have to feel this pain that I felt. And Erika, I really just believe that is a testimony to who you are as a person. You have such a heart of gold. You are just good to your core, and that level of emotional intelligence to say, there's something I can do to help stop this so no other little girl or little boy has to lose their mom or their grandma or their aunt or, any woman in their family for that matter. But it just really serves the message of who you are as a woman. It blows me away, to be honest.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that you would take so much of your own life and your own time to say, I want the hurting to stop. That's really what I feel whenever I hear you talk about your passion for this platform.
Thank you. Well, that's why we compete. You not only do you want the friendships and the glitz and glam, but you want to make a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
In the world and in the lives of others.
Well, you've made a difference in my life.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you. It has been just an honor to have you here today. And, I want to say to anyone who's listening here that might get the privilege, it is an absolute privilege to meet Erika in Las Vegas in March. You are in for a real treat. She is just an incredible young woman. And if you have the privilege to cross her path, do take the time to stop and talk to her and get to know her, because she just will lift you up and put you in this place of joy that I just think is tailored to her personality that I don't know that anyone else has the gift to do. So if you run into her, definitely take the time to stop and say hi to her.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it so much. And I've enjoyed being here and getting to see you and talking about things that are important.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us.